In this video, I want to talk about which option is actually a better ROI for your money, whether you start from scratch or whether you buy an existing assisted living business. So if you guys are interested, make sure to stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, as you know, I'm very grateful for each and every single one of you guys for supporting this channel, for liking these videos, for commenting down what it is you guys want to see from me. But before we get started, I do want to mention the God Made podcast that I created just a few weeks ago. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys went and checked it out, subscribed, left a review. It's more of a personalized podcast regarding things that I've experienced in my life, the way that God has worked in my life, and just different things that I've learned along the way that I think you guys would feel inspired by and also be motivated by. So if you guys want to, feel free to check it out in the link down below, and it will pop up a couple different links, and you guys can choose where you guys want to be directed, whether it's to my Instagram or whether it's to the podcast or the YouTube channel or the Facebook group or the Legion Assisted Living Academy. Feel free to go check it out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually get started. This was a topic that I got a comment on a video a while back where I had mentioned why actually starting from scratch is a better ROI than buying an existing business. And a lot of people commented on that video wanting me to make a video about why that is the case and why you guys should really consider starting from scratch rather than buying an existing business. So let's go ahead and actually start with why starting from scratch, meaning from the bottom up, is a better ROI for your money. Well, reason being is because you guys will actually ultimately get to choose how you want to buy the home or purchase the home or whether you want to rent the home. There's so many different options, right? And you can get qualified for so many different things when it comes to purchasing the real estate aspect of this business. And for a lot of people, purchasing a home, they may be able to get into it with a lot less down if they're not going down the investment route, right? They could actually purchase that home as a personal home, have it set up to where they actually live on the premises and be able to only put down 5%. So, there is that option. Now, the other option is they could leverage someone else's money or, use their own money to purchase the home. And that's another option as well. And then you got the option that I took, which was leasing a property and doing the assisted living. So, leasing a property long term is going to cost you a bit more, but short term, just to get into the property is, a lot cheaper. And so, therefore, the return on your investment getting into the property right away is a lot cheaper. And so for me, when I got into this property, as many of you guys know, the lease did start out at $2,800, and then I was able to renegotiate it a few months later, realizing that I'm overpaying on the lease on this specific property. And so therefore I dropped it down to $2,000. Now, when I signed the lease, I obviously paid first month's rent and last month's rent, which I do have a video, which I'll link up here regarding the expenses that I currently have on this business. And so there was that expense of what you guys are going to end up putting down as a down payment, whether you purchase the home and finance the home, or if you're just going to lease the home and go down that route. So that may come out of pocket. It could be depending on the size of the home, depending on the location, that can all vary. But I'm just going to say, it's going to be anywhere from about 10 to 20,000. Okay. Depending on what type of home it is and what route you end up taking. It obviously can be a lot more. That's a given. So for people who are just like, oh, well, yes, I know the fact that there is potential to actually have to put more money out of pocket when it comes to putting down a down payment. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't think that it's no shoe fits all type of scenario. So regardless, though, I'm playing kind of off of my numbers. And so then you got to have to take in consideration, just like when you purchase a home for yourself or for your family, all of kind of same thing goes into it, right? You got to find the furniture, you got to get all the appliances if you didn't lease it with appliances or bought it with appliances. And then you also got to take in consideration, the licensing, the zoning fees, also the referral fees from the placement agents. All that will add up, and I would say it can add up depending on what type of furniture you get, also what type of appliances you get. This is all something that you can budget with the amount of money that you have available, with the amount of capital you have available. So just make sure that you budget all of this, but it can vary. And I've talked about this in another video. For a 5 bed, it costs roughly about, you know, anywhere from like 30 even to $50,000 to get it furnished, get residents in there, get everything that you need done. It could cost about 30 to 50,000, all give and take, if you do it the right way. Now, for a 10 bed, just double that, right? You just double that because now you're adding more furniture, and you probably might add a little bit more appliances. You might need an extra fridge, etc. So just double that. So it could be anywhere from 60 to 100,000. And so that is pretty much what it takes to start from the ground up. If you do it all right, guys, keep in mind you got to have kind of a buffer. I would say have a buffer of about I don't know, 10 to 15,000, and use that buffer for anything that might come up, anything that might end up costing you more money. So with that buffer, you just have that in place, both for a 5 bed and a 10 bed. For some people, just may not have that buffer, and they can't afford to have that buffer available to them. So but when you take all that in consideration, it's a lot cheaper. And so and that's from everything that I've seen, from talking to other care homeowners and what they've told me their startup costs were, also from what I see existing businesses actually being sold for. So let's go ahead and jump into existing businesses. So existing businesses, over oftentimes what happens is that they are actually overvalued, meaning they're overvalued because personally I know for a fact that what it took them to actually start up that business, you take that in consideration. Then you take in consideration their income, so the residents that they have in there for the past 3 years, and you average that out, and they're way overvalued oftentimes. And so for a 10 bed, I've seen them go anywhere from 200 to 300,000, just the business alone. And then on top of that, you get the real estate. And yes, you can invest in that, because what you essentially are paying for is the business already in place, the staff that's already in place, the management that's already in place. You're also paying for the residents that are already in place, well, mainly their residency agreements, and also what they have in place, their reputation. All of that you are essentially paying for. And so to them, they think that that's really valuable, because at the end of the day, to start something from scratch is going to take a little bit more time, in the sense of staying full and getting residents in there, but also take in consideration the fact that you do with starting from scratch and starting from the bottom up, you got to consider operating costs. So, or opportunity costs, my bad, opportunity costs. So when you take in opportunity costs, meaning the time that you don't get residents in there, you're coming out of pocket, or you're having to pay into it because you don't have income yet coming in. So that's opportunity cost. And so you may have to take that in consideration. And that's why I say have that buffer available, because you may have to come out of pocket a month or two, depending on how fast you get your residents into the home. And so with existing businesses, yes, you get that cash flow coming in right away, but it will take over time a lot longer than it would starting from scratch, because now you to make your return on your investment on, let's say, on a 5 bed, 50,000, right? You can make that money back easily within, I would say, 2 years, easily. So with an existing business, a 5 bed may go from anywhere from 100,000 to 150, give or take. And to see that money, it's probably double that. Probably it's going to take you maybe 4 to 5 years. And also keep in mind, guys, there are a lot of variable changes when it comes to this business. Residents do end up moving out. They do end up passing away there. So your income won't always be the exact same reoccurring every single month. You may have a really good run where you are able to have a consistent year or 2 years even, depending on this, the stability of your residence. So guys, keep that in mind. I want you guys to take all this information, and depending on what it is you guys are wanting to start, whether it's a 5 bed, a 10 bed, or whatever the case is, guys, just know that starting from scratch is a lot harder, but I would say it's a lot more worth it if you got the time and the resources available and you have the capital to do it. But if you don't want to go through the hassle of starting from the bottom up and you just want to buy something that's already in place, you already have a manager in place, caregivers in place, residents in place, and it's all seamless and easier, I would say then, maybe it's your time is more valuable in that sense, because now you're looking at it as a way of saying, okay, how can I cut down the time to have to start being profitable than it is to start from scratch and go through this entire process. Starting from scratch is very beneficial because you do end up learning everything that it takes to get a business like this going, everything that it takes to get all the residents in. You essentially get way more experience starting from scratch rather than buying an existing business. When you're buying an existing business, you might end up getting in there with no experience at all, and you're handed this business with residents to take care of, caregivers to manage, managers to manage, whatever the case is, and it does become overwhelming. So guys, keep that all in consideration, whether you guys want to start from scratch or whether you are buying an existing business. I may make a video, and I have made a video of what to look for when buying an existing business, so I probably won't make a video about that. But regardless, guys, I appreciate all the love and support. If you guys found this video very informative, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button for me. Feel free to go check out the God Made podcast. Go watch all these other videos up here. They're very informative. And until next time, guys, God bless.